The Cadets Military Academy was widely regarded as the hardest training institution in the Perseus Arm. If a cadet survived its brutal coursework, sleepless drills, and grueling physical trials, they were not simply soldiers. They were the beating heart of the Alliance legions. For centuries, the greatest warriors of every species had walked its halls. But never, truly never, had it seen anything quite like a human. Beginning, the arrival of the outsider. The courtyard buzzed with chatter as hundreds of alien cadets prepared for their first day of physical evaluations. Many species were present: broad-shouldered Korthans with stone-like skin, gliding Silrai with 4 oxygen sacs fluttering with excitement, and towering Relk warriors whose triple-jointed arms dangled like folded hydraulic cranes. And then there was the human. Cadet Mason Hale stood in the line with his hands in the pockets of his Academy-issued uniform. He looked, by galactic standards, entirely unremarkable. 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head. No natural armor. No claws. No venom sacs. No telepathy. Just soft skin, dense muscle, and a grin that suggested he wasn't taking any of this nearly as seriously as he should. "Is that it?" whispered Rel, a Silrai cadet floating beside him. "That's the human? The one everyone's been gossiping about?" Relk Cadet Vorin let out a gravelly laugh. "He looks fragile." Mason simply shrugged. "I get that a lot." This only made them exchange more glances of disbelief. The Academy was full of species evolved for war: needle-barbed limbs, crushing exoskeletons, reinforced tendons, but the human looked like he belonged in an office chair, not a battlefield. Rumors had already spread. Humans had recently made contact with the broader galaxy. Their technology lagged. Their ships were primitive. Their biology was weak. Their political landscape was fractured. So why had the Alliance allowed one to join the most prestigious military academy in known space? Mason's answer had been simple. I asked. Commander Jorek, an 8-foot-tall Korthan whose skin shimmered like basalt, stepped onto the raised platform. "Cadets, today we begin your strength calibration trial. You will lift the standard training mass. The mass will self-adjust according to your species' gravitational norms. You will lift it to chest height. If you fail, you are removed from the elite track." A collective murmur rolled through the courtyard. The elite track was everything: top missions, top postings, top reputation. A series of gravweights hovered forward. The devices looked like matte black cubes, each inscribed with Alliance runes and built with artificial singularity cores capable of scaling mass from 50 kilos to several thousand. One by one, cadets stepped forward to lift them. The Korthans went first, raising weights equivalent to small boulders. The crowd cheered. The Silrai struggled, their delicate limbs trembling as they tried to adjust to physical strain on bodies evolved for gliding, not lifting. Some succeeded, barely. Some failed. Then came the Relk. Vorin stepped onto the pad and gripped his cube confidently. His triple-jointed arms flexed. The weight rose, wobbled, and settled at chest height. The crowd erupted. Relk were famed for their strength. Vorin had lifted nearly 600 local units. He turned toward the human with a toothy smirk. "Try to keep up, soft skin." Mason grinned. "I'll do my best." But whispers spread again. The human's turn was next. His species' gravity world was only 1.0 standard. He had no exoskeleton, no claws, nothing to give him an advantage. Surely he would fail. Middle, the human quirk. Mason stepped up to the platform. His weight cube hovered in front of him. Runes flashed. The mass stabilized at. The display flickered. 1,000 standard units. The crowd gasped. "That's impossible," Rel whispered. "Why did it set to that? The human baseline is half that." Commander Jorek frowned at his tablet. Curious. The cube reads his bone density as extremely high. Retroactive gravitational adaptation?
No.
Earth is a standard gravity world. He looked at Mason. Cadet, has your species undergone artificial augmentation? No, sir, Mason replied. This is natural. And your bones are this dense by default. Mason shrugged. I drink a lot of milk. The aliens whispered again. Milk? Is that a mineral? A stimulant? Jorik waved his hand. Proceed. Mason placed his hands on the cube. It was cold, humming with potential mass. The gravitational field pulled on his arms like a magnet dragging steel. But he didn't brace. He didn't plant his feet. He didn't even adjust his stance. He just lifted. The cube rose smoothly, effortlessly, until it was at chest height. Silence fell. Then gasps. Then utter shock. Commander Jorik's eyes widened. Are you lifting that with one arm? Mason blinked. You said chest height. Not how many arms. Voron's jaw hung open, mandibles twitching compulsively. That was heavier than mine. Much heavier. Mason set the weight down with a gentle thunk. He wasn't even breathing heavily. What's next? He asked cheerfully. Word of the humans' feat spread across the campus by sundown. Everywhere Mason went, cadets stared at him in awe or fear. He sat at dinner with Rel and Voron, who had begrudgingly accepted that Mason wasn't fragile at all. What are humans? Voron asked bluntly. Your bone density is absurd. Your muscles generate force far beyond your mass. You move like a creature used to high-G environments, yet your world is standard gravity. Mason poked at his meal. Honestly, we're not sure either. Humans are just durable. Rel floated a few inches higher. Durable? Commander Jorik spent an hour analyzing the training cube after you left. He said the human body should have collapsed under its gravitational torque. He thought it was a technical malfunction. Was it? No, Rel squeaked. It was accurate. Mason nodded.
Cool. Cool.
Voron repeated, exasperated. Do humans react like this to everything? Pretty much. We're weirdly calm under pressure. Comes from having predators and natural disasters. Rel tilted her head. Predators? You had many? Enough that you get used to being hunted. Rel's levitation sacs fluttered violently. And you survived? As a species? Voron groaned. Explain something else. Your species has no claws, no exoskeleton, no venom. You are naked mammals. So, how did you become dominant? Mason smiled. We cheat. Rocks, sticks, fire tools. And persistence hunting. Persistence what? If something runs from us, we just keep following it. For hours. Days even. Until it collapses. Both aliens froze. You chase prey until it dies of exhaustion? Rel whispered. Pretty much. Voron pushed away his food tray. I suddenly feel unwell. Over the next weeks, Mason's oddities continued to astound them. During endurance drills, he outran nearly all the cadets, despite having only 2 legs and no respiratory sacs. During cold resistance tests, he stood in sub-zero temperatures unfazed, while Silrai had to be evacuated and Relk needed thermal wraps. During navigation trials, he used something called gut instinct, baffling the instructors when he repeatedly found the fastest route without scanning tech. He wasn't the smartest or the fastest or the strongest, but he excelled in every category at least moderately, and in endurance and strength he was absurdly ahead. Rumors began circulating. Humans regenerate faster. Humans get stronger under stress. Humans survive wounds that kill most species. Humans can run for days. Humans do not fear death the same way we do. Most cadets simply watched him from a distance now, equal parts admiration and terror. The trials of unity, humanity's turn. At the midpoint of the academy year, the cadets faced the trials of unity. Not individual exams, team-based challenges requiring every cadet to perform at peak capability. Failure meant demotion to a lower battalion. The trial? Move a mock artillery piece, essentially a massive cannon assembly, across 5 kilometers of rugged terrain. It weighed several tons. It required stamina, coordination, and teamwork. Most teams assigned 4 cadets to each handle. Mason's team, Team Aurelius, had Rel, Voren, Mason, and 2 others, Jirak, a nervous but brilliant avian polyglot, and Senral, a stoic crystalline life form whose species communicated through harmonic vibrations. The challenge began with a horn blast. Teams lunged forward, straining to move their artillery rigs. Team Aurelius struggled. Rel's species floated better than they walked. Voren's species were strong but bulky, sinking into the mud. Senral slid awkwardly over uneven rocks, their crystalline legs scraping. Jirak had talons but little strength. They quickly fell behind. Another team passed them, then another. Mason glanced at his group. Exhaustion was already setting in. "We're not going to make it," Jirak panted. "Not with us slowing you down," Rel murmured. Voren slammed a fist into the mud. "This is humiliating. We cannot fail." Senral hummed a low, mournful chord. Mason exhaled slowly. "Guys," he said, stepping behind the artillery piece, "move aside a sec." They gave him a puzzled look. "Just for a second," he repeated. They stepped back. Mason cracked his knuckles, braced his legs, and shoved. The artillery piece lurched forward. The mud around it rippled. The team stared, stunned. "Mason," Rel whispered, "what are you doing?" "Pushing," he grunted. With what strength?" "That rig weighs." "Doesn't matter. Help me steer it." Team Aurelius swarmed around him, guiding the wheels as Mason provided the raw power. He didn't lift it, not completely, but he pushed it at a steady, determined pace. Teams they had lost to earlier soon watched in disbelief as Team Aurelius surged past them. The Relk officers monitoring the trials stared wide-eyed as one human, powered a weapon rig meant for 8. They finished the trial in 3rd place. When the announcement was made, the courtyard erupted in cheers and murmurs. For a species the galaxy expected to be weak, this was unprecedented. Team Aurelius became Academy legends overnight, ending the human way. The final exams arrived. The last test of the entire Academy year, a simulated battlefield scenario. Cadets would face environmental hazards and mechanical hostiles, strategizing under pressure. Team Aurelius started strong, each member playing to their strengths. Mason moved ahead, scouting. Rel used her floating ability to identify enemy drones. Jirak decoded encrypted signals. Senral projected harmonic pulses to disable traps. Voren fought melee hostiles with ferocity. But halfway through the simulation, an unexpected variable appeared, a collapsing tunnel. The tremor knocked Senral sideways, pinning them underneath a fallen support beam. Their crystalline chassis cracked, light flickering weakly. Voren tried lifting the beam. Even with his prodigious strength, it didn't budge. "We need assistance," Rel shouted into her comm device.
Static. Course control was offline.
"Leave me," Senral whispered through flickering lights. "Complete the trial. I will be retrieved afterward." "Like hell," Mason said. He knelt beside the beam. Voren growled, frustrated. "Human, don't be foolish. That weight is—" Yeah, Mason muttered. "I've heard that before." He gripped the beam with both hands. Rel gasped. "Mason, you cannot, this is—" Mason inhaled once, deep and controlled. He didn't shout. He didn't strain visibly. He simply lifted. The beam rose several inches. Voren froze. Impossible. Pull Senral out. Mason grunted. Voren snapped out of his shock and dragged their teammate free. When Senral was clear, Mason dropped the beam, panting but still conscious. They completed the simulation together, moving slower, bruised and exhausted, but with every member intact. When they crossed the finish line, Commander Jorek awaited them. "You did not finish first," Jorek said. "Nor second. Nor third." The team lowered their heads. "But," the commander continued, "you demonstrated the highest value of the Alliance, unity. You refused to abandon your own, even when victory demanded sacrifice. That is the human way, is it not?" Mason smiled faintly. "Pretty much." Jorek bowed his massive head. "Team Aurelius passes with distinction." Cheers erupted. Senral projected a harmonic melody of gratitude. Rel hovered several feet high in joy. Jirak crowed triumphantly. Voren clapped Mason on the back hard enough to bruise. "You are insane," the Relk boomed. "And I am proud to call you teammate." Mason laughed. "I'll take it." Epilogue: The Legend of the Human. By the year's end, the galaxy had learned something new about humans. They were not the strongest, not the fastest, not the smartest or most technologically advanced, but they were relentless. They were stubborn. They were frighteningly adaptable. And when someone fell behind, humans did the unthinkable. They went back. They lifted the weight. They pushed the impossible. They kept going long after others quit. In a galaxy obsessed with power, humans brought something different. Endurance, unity, sheer, unwavering will. And it all began the day the cadets struggled with the weight, and the human lifted it with one hand.